skin. The skin is the largest organ in the human body, and most people never think of it as an organ at all. It covers the entire outside of the body and acts as a barrier between everything inside you and the outside world, blocking harmful bacteria, regulating body temperature through sweat, and sending signals to the brain when something is hot, cold, sharp, or painful. It is made up of 3 distinct layers, and it constantly renews itself, shedding tens of thousands of dead cells every hour and replacing them with fresh ones from beneath. Without it functioning properly, the body would lose water rapidly, infection would set in within hours, and survival would be impossible.
The brain. The brain is made up of roughly 86 billion neurons, each forming connections with thousands of others, creating a network more complex than anything humans have ever built. Everything that makes you who you are lives here, from thought and memory to emotion and movement, along with every automatic process the body runs without you ever thinking about it. Different regions handle different jobs, with the frontal lobe managing decisions and personality, the occipital lobe processing vision, and the cerebellum coordinating balance and movement. It consumes around 20% of the body's total energy, despite making up only about 2% of its weight, and despite decades of research, it remains the least understood organ in the human body, the heart. The heart is a muscular pump about the size of a fist, sitting slightly left of center in the chest, and it starts beating around 3 weeks after conception without ever stopping. It pushes blood through roughly 60,000 miles of blood vessels, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell in the body, beating around 100,000 times a day without any conscious effort. The left side sends oxygen-rich blood out to the body, while the right side receives depleted blood back and directs it to the lungs to be refreshed. Heart disease remains the leading cause of death worldwide, which reflects just how central this organ is to everything else. The lungs. The lungs are 2 sponge-like organs sitting on either side of the heart, responsible for pulling oxygen from the air and releasing carbon dioxide every time you breathe out. Breathing feels effortless, but there is constant, precise work happening with every single breath, driven by hundreds of millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli, whose combined surface area would cover roughly the size of a tennis court. The lungs also have a self-cleaning mechanism involving tiny hair-like structures called cilia that sweep dust and debris upward to be cleared from the body. Every breath, even during sleep, is automatically adjusted by signals from the brain to match whatever the body demands.
The liver. The liver is a dark reddish-brown organ weighing about 1.5 kilograms, and no organ in the body performs more jobs than this one. It filters toxins from the blood, produces bile to digest fats, stores glucose for energy, and processes nearly every drug or chemical that enters the body, which is why both alcohol and certain medications can damage it over time. It is one of the only organs capable of fully regenerating, growing back to its original size within weeks, even if a large portion of it is removed. Ancient Greeks believed it, not the heart, was the seat of the human soul. The stomach. The stomach is a muscular sac that churns food while releasing hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes, breaking everything down into a semi-liquid called chyme before passing it to the small intestine. The acid it produces sits at a pH low enough to dissolve certain metals, yet the stomach protects itself with a thick layer of mucus that is replaced completely every few days. Beyond digestion, it also kills many harmful bacteria that enter through food, acting as a chemical defense as well as a digestive one. It signals the brain when it is full through hormones and nerve signals, and those signals can easily be disrupted by stress or irregular eating habits.
The small intestine. The small intestine is where the majority of nutrient absorption takes place, and despite its name, it is the longest part of the digestive tract, stretching between 6 and 7 meters in most adults. Its inner surface is covered in tiny finger-like projections called villi, and each of those is covered in even smaller projections called microvilli, together creating an enormous surface area that allows carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals to pass into the bloodstream. Without it functioning properly, the body cannot extract nutrition from food regardless of how much a person eats, leading to serious malnutrition even in people who appear to eat normally.
The large intestine. The large intestine is shorter but much wider than the small intestine, and its primary job is to absorb water and compact remaining material into solid waste. It also houses trillions of microorganisms that together make up the gut microbiome, a community so complex and influential that researchers now consider it almost like a separate organ. These microorganisms help break down fibers the body cannot digest on its own, produce certain vitamins, and play a significant role in regulating the immune system. There is also growing evidence that the gut microbiome influences mental health through a communication pathway between the digestive system and the brain.